Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Reckless Paradise podcast. I am your host, Dystro, and tonight's episode is a Let's Talk episode. The topic of this Let's Talk episode is over bipolar disorder, and it is Bipolar Disorder Awareness Month. So if you have it, the one or the two, you are very well aware, and hopefully I do some good justice by you guys going over this stuff. And to kind of kick it off, I guess, if people do not know what bipolar disorder is, it is also called manic depression. It is a disorder associated with episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. The exact cause of bipolar disorder is not known, but a combination of genetics, environment, and altered brain structure and chemistry may play a role in it. Some manic episodes may include symptoms of high energy, reduced need for sleep, and loss of touch with reality. But depressive episodes may include symptoms such as low energy, low motivation, and loss of interest in daily activities. Mood episodes last days, maybe to months at a time, and may be associated with suicidal thoughts. Treatment is usually lifelong and involves a combination of medications and psychotherapy as well. But then some symptoms are like mood swings, like I said, which is like sadness, elevated mood, anger, anxiety, empathy, apprehension, euphoria, general discontent, guilt, hopelessness, loss of interest or pleasure in activities. And then some behaviors is like irritability, risk-taking behaviors, disordinated behavior, aggression, agitation, crying, excess desire for sex, hyperactivity, impulsive, like impulsive buying and all stuff, in self-harm. And then the psychological aspect of that is like depression, manic episodes, agitated depression, and or paranoia. And it could also affect like the weight, the whole body, sleep schedules, and all that stuff too. Which is like what's kind of going through Marissa right now. She is on the bipolar 2 spectrum of this, and she has all the signs of all this, like the fatigue and the weight gain and weight loss. Sometimes she has that one day where she's like at the super highest of highs, and then she goes right down to it almost feels like a sugar crash. It's like where you have like all this energy, and then it's just like it's just sucked out of you. She has said before that she was diagnosed with bipolar 2 in late November of last year. It'll be 7 months since she's been diagnosed with this. And I want to kind of make some people aware about this, because no, she probably wants you to know about this. So I have found a Wikipedia page on bipolar disorder as BD. And in some cases, like if the elevated mood is severe or associated with psychosis, it is called mania. If it is less severe, does not significantly affect functioning, it is called hypomania, which is like what she has kind of gone through with sometimes right now. Sometimes, like when it was like her birthday week 2 weeks ago, she was like at like the highest of highs, and kind of just felt like she could be on the top of the world and just be like super happy. But then it's like as soon as I left, and it was that next day, it was just like it just went all downhill. During mania, an individual behaves or feels abnormally energetic, happy, or irritable, and they often make impulsive decisions with little regard for the consequences, which is like what she had done. There is usually, but not always, a reduced need for sleep during the manic phases. During periods of depression, the individual may experience crying, have a negative outlook on life, and demonstrate poor eye contact with others. And the risk of suicide is high. Over a period of 20 years, 6 of those with bipolar disorder die by suicide, and with 1/3 attempting it in their lifetime. Though among those with bipolar disorder, 40 to 50% overall, and 78% of adolescents engage in self-harm. I guess I should put like a little trigger warning. I should have put that at the beginning of the video. Sorry. But if you are triggered by this, please do not listen to the rest of this, and also please go click on something else on our channel. And I'll just give you a few seconds to go if you want to do that. Alright, so other mental health issues such as anxiety disorders and substance abuse disorders are commonly associated with bipolar disorder. The global prevalence of BD is estimated to between 1 to 5% of the world's population, which is crazy. And if you want to think about it, it's like mania and hypomania is kind of like I said, it's like the highest of highs and the lowest of lows when you have this disorder. Usually the specialty for it is like clinical psychology, and then the usual onset for it is usually around 25 years old. But Marissa's only 22, like she was just turned 23, and she just got it last November, so it kind of hit her kind of early. The causes for it is usually environmental and genetic. But the risk factors are like family history, childhood abuse, and long-term stress, which he's probably done before. So for those who do not know what bipolar 1 disorder and then bipolar 2 disorder would probably be, I'm going to try to break it down for a little bit. So BD1, which is type 1 bipolar disorder, is a spectrum disorder characterized by the occurrence of at least one manic episode with or without mixed or psychotic features. So mostly like these typical like manic episodes can last like at least 7 days for most of each day, but then while the depressive at least lasts for at least 2 weeks. It's also the exact same usual onset with like 25 years old. Usually the treatment for it is like usually therapy, and lithium, which is like a mood stabilizing med, to kind of help it counteract that. Whereas bipolar 2 disorder is a mood disorder on the bipolar spectrum. It's characterized by at least one episode of hypomania and at least one episode of major depression. So it's kind of like the bipolar 1 disorder, but times 2. It kind of hits the person kind of harder, and diagnosis for it requires the individual must never experience a full manic episode, which is kind of hard to do, but let's just go right into it. Let's see what a manic episode would be. So a manic episode is defined as a distinct period of abnormality and persistently elevated, expansive, or irritable mood, and abnormal and persistently increased activity or energy at least in a week, and present most of the day, nearly every day, or any duration if hospitalization is needed. Where the mood is not caused by any drugs or medication or a non-mental medical illness, and is causing oblivious difficulties at work or in social relationships and activities, or requires admission to a hospital to protect the person or others, or the person has psychosis. So, be classified as a manic episode while a disturbed mood and an increase in goal-directed activity or energy is present, at least 3 or 4 if irritability is present. The following must be consistently present. So these are like the 7 signs if you want to like go for it. Inflated self-esteem or grandiosity, decreased need for sleep. Example given: feels rested after 3 hours of sleep, which is usually not possible. More talkative than usual or acts pressure to keep talking. Flights of ideas or subjectively experience that thoughts are racing. Increase in goal-directed activity or psychomotor acceleration. Distractibility, too easily drawn to unimportant or irrelevant external stimuli, or extensive involvement in activities with a high likelihood of painful consequences, like, for example, extravagant shopping, improbable commercial screens, or hypersexuality. Though the activities one participates in while in a manic state are not always negative, those with the potential to have negative outcomes are more common. If, say, the person is concurrently depressed, they are said to be having a mixed episode. Um, so the ICD defines a manic episode as where one mood is higher than a person's situation warrants and may vary from relaxed high spirits to barely controllable exuberance. Is accompanied by hyperactivity, a compulsion to speak, reduced sleep requirement, difficulty sustaining attention, and or often increased distractibility. Um, some people might also have physical symptoms, which is like sweating, pacing, and or weight loss. In full-blown mania, often the manic person will feel as though their goal are paramount are of paramount importance. There are no consequences, or that negative consequences will be minimal, and that they are not need not exercise restraint in the pursuit of what they are after. So that kind of being said, it's like, if they're kind of goal driven also, it's like no matter what, it's like they're gonna get that goal done. If it's like causes them harm or bodily harm or whatever, like they've got to get that done. So I wanted to kind of go over like in what could be in society or culture. There was a memoir called a Electro Boy, a memoir of mania by Andy Berman. He describes his experience of mania as the most perfect prescription glasses of which to see the world. Life appears in front of you like an oversized movie screen. Berman indicates early in his memoir that he sees himself as not the person with the uncontrollable disabling illness, but as the director of a movie that is his vivid and emotionally alive life. There are some evidence that people in the creative industries have bipolar disorder more often than those in other occupations. Winston Churchill had periods of manic symptoms that may have both been an asset and a liability. Even the English actor Stephen Fry, who has bipolar disorder, recounts manic behavior during his adolescence. When I was about 17, going around London on 2 stolen credit cards, it was sort of fantastic reinvention of myself, an attempt to. I bought ridiculous outfits with stiff collars and silk ties from the 1920s and would go to the Savoy and Ritz and drink cocktails. While he has experienced suicidal thoughts, he says the manic side of his condition has had positive contributions on his life, which that's another case of like it's kind of an asset and a liability. And also, if you want to kind of go into some ermatology here, the nosology of the various stages of a manic episode has changed over the decades. The word derives from the ancient Greek Luvia, which is mania. I'm probably butchering that. I'm so sorry. Which is like madness or frenzy. And the verb manowai is to be mad, to rage, or to be furious. I'm sorry if I butchered that Greek. I am so sorry. So to kind of like, I guess, kind of wrap it up just a little bit more, there is a mechanism underlying mania which is unknown, but the neuro profile of mania is highly consistent with dysfunction in the right prefrontal cortex, a common finding in neuroimaging studies. Various lines of evidence from postmortem studies and putative mechanisms of anti-manic agents point to the abnormalities in J, GSK3, dopamine, protein kinase C, and nosinol, and it's the enzyme inositol. I'm sorry if I probably butchered that too. And the diagnosis for it would be in the ICD-10, there are several disorders with the manic syndrome: organic manic disorder, mania without psychotic symptoms, mania with psychotic symptoms, other manic episodes, unspecified manic episode, manic type of schizophrenic schizoaffective disorder, bipolar disorder, current episode manic without psychotic symptoms, bipolar affective disorder, and current episode manic with psychotic symptoms. Man, that's a mouthful. So here's some more kind of like information, I guess, if you want to call it, in society and culture. So the United States spent approximately 202.1 billion on people diagnosed with bipolar 1 disorder. One analysis estimated that the United Kingdom spent approximately 5.2 billion pounds on the disorder in 2007. In addition to the economic costs, bipolar disorder is a leading cause of disability and lost productivity worldwide. If I could speak today, I'm so sorry. People with bipolar disorder are generally more disabled, having a lower level of functioning, longer duration of illness, and increased rates of work absenteeism, like absence, and increased productivity when compared to people experiencing other mental health disorders. The decrease in the productivity seen in those who care for people with bipolar disorder are also significantly contributes to those costs. So, kind of wrapping it up again, sorry, to kind of like help somebody with bipolar disorder, encourage them, encourage them to seek professional treatment, offer emotional support, and help them establish healthy lifestyle habits, which includes a consistent sleep schedule, a healthy diet, regular exercise, and avoiding substance abuse or substance use. Educate yourself about the condition and be patient and understanding. So kind of like, be like, hey, like, don't be like shouting at them, be like what's wrong with you and all that stuff. Like, don't do that. But kind of just be like, hey, like, everything's gonna be all right. Just kind of just like offer them some emotional support. Just be aware of some triggers to help them identify and understand their triggers for mood episodes and develop coping strategies. And also kind of communicate openly and honestly too. Like I said, like talk to them calmly and respectfully about their disorder or their behavior and its impact on others, while focusing on specific actions rather than making general acute accusations. Um, but yeah, this has kind of been like a little bit of an eye-opening experience for me, because Marissa's kind of going through this right now, and I've been helping her with that, for the past 7 months now. It's gonna hopefully it'll get better from here. But she is on a mood stabilizer now called Latuda, and she was on Lexapro before, but that wasn't really helping much because she was with the lamotrigine, and with that, it's kind of like it was counteracting it. It was not making her feel any better or any worse. So she got weaned off of Lexapro. Now she's on Latuda and the lamotrigine, and hopefully that will kind of like kick her in the butt and just be like, oh, okay, everything's gonna be all right, Um, so, I'm gonna wrap this up here. I probably wasted most of your time. Sorry. But if you made it to the very end of this video, please make sure to follow us on all of the social media links in the description below, which will take you to our link tree. Which there you will see our Instagram pages, Twitter pages, the podcast Reddit page, my gaming YouTube channel is on there, and tonight's song of the night is Blink 182. Is one more time. Hopefully, hopefully they won't break up again. But I think we're gonna get some new music out of them, maybe in the next few months or so. So yeah. This has been kind of eye-opening episode. But if you liked this video, please make sure to give us a like, and share it to all your friends. And I will see you at the end of June for another episode of the Paradise Podcast. See you, everybody. Peace.